Chapter 4. How I practice speaking. On Thursday, I go to school again. We have a new student in our class. Her name is Monica and she's from Italy. At the beginning of the lesson, my teacher asks Monica some questions. My teacher knows Monica because Monica visited her class 1 year ago. It was a class for beginners and it was only for 2 weeks. During summer holiday, when Monica speaks, her English is beautiful. Her pronunciation is very good and she is very fluent. My teacher is very happy and she tells Monica, "Your school in Italy must be very good." Monica said, "I don't go to any school. I learn English at home. I use techniques from you. I do a lot of reading, sharing, and thinking aloud. I try to think more in English than in Italian. This is how I work on my English. The 2 weeks which I spent last summer at your class helped me a lot. You showed me the way. I know how to work on my English every day. This is why I wanted to go to your class again, because 1 year ago I was a beginner. Now I can speak English. I want to learn from you again." My teacher is very happy when she hears these words. She thanks Monica for her hard work. It is all very interesting for me. I already know about reading. I also know the sharing technique, but Monica also speaks about thinking aloud. I don't know what it is, so I asked our teacher, "What is thinking aloud?" Our teacher said, "It is a very effective technique. You have to have a strong motivation you learn English if you want to have benefit from this technique. It is also good to know that for some people this technique is a little crazy, but when you start to think aloud, your English can be better very fast." I said, "I have a strong motivation. I don't care if the technique is crazy. If it helps, I want to learn it. Can you teach us this technique?" "Okay. It is actually very simple. You think in your native language all day, every day. It is normal. Now you can start to think in English. And when you start to think in English, then you can think aloud. You simply say aloud what you think. It is all." I say, "It is very simple. Why is it very effective?" Our teacher said, "Maybe you can ask Monica. She uses this technique. Maybe she can tell you more about this technique." Then our teacher asked Monica if it is okay for her to speak about her experience with thinking aloud. "It is no problem for Monica," she said. "When I started with this technique, it was easy. I started with very simple sentences. For example, I can speak English. It is good that I can speak English. I want to be better. I need to practice every day. I don't know many words, but I can use these words well. I can say my ideas with these words. I can do this. This is great." The sentences were really simple, but at the beginning there was one problem. My thinking in Italian was long and complicated. I wasn't able to say in English exactly what I was saying in Italian. I needed to find a simpler form for English. To think in simple English was the hardest part, but after some time, it was normal for me to think in English. Then something interesting happened. I met a man from Australia. He was on holiday in Italy. I was still a beginner, but we started to speak English. I could see that it was able to speak in without big problems. My sentences were simple and short, but I was able to speak. I did it translate in my head from Italian to English. After the meeting with the man from Australia, I started to use thinking aloud more. This technique helped me a lot with my speaking. I still use it every day. It is really a very effective technique. Our teacher thanks Monica for her experience with thinking aloud. I want to use this technique because I also want to be better at speaking. When you want to speak English fluently, think aloud. Think aloud. Part 2, Chapter 1, How I Learn Grammar. After school, I go to the cafe while my job training starts. I don't know what to expect. I have no experience. I'm not sure if I can do this job. When I come to the cafe, I'm very surprised. It is a modern cafe which sells coffee, tea, and also chocolate cakes and sandwich. And my boss is only 25 years old. She started to work at the cafe more 2 years ago. She has a lot of experience and she knows everything perfectly. She shows me how to prepare coffee, how to wash the dishes, and how to deal with customers. It is all new for me. I remember only about 20% of what she tells me. But then she lets me do the work and she corrects me when I make a mistake. She is very friendly and I learn fast. After the first day at work, I'm very tired, but I'm happy that I have a job. The next day is Friday and I go to school again. One student asks an interesting question. Sometimes when I speak, I'm not sure if I speak correctly. I'm not sure if I use correct grammar. Can you help me what to do if I want to learn grammar? Our teacher said, "Thank you for your question. There are two groups of students. Some students study English because they want to be able to speak. Some students study English because they want to pass an exam. For each group, this situation is different. First, I want to speak about the students who need English for speaking. If this is you, you don't have to study grammar a lot. When you learn your native language, you also learn it without studying grammar. You can learn English grammar naturally by using the language. The best way to learn grammar naturally is by reading a lot. Both are writing in good grammar. When you read, you will learn grammar in the context of the whole sentence. I also recommend shadowing. When you do shadowing, you practice the correct grammar. You do it naturally. You don't have to try to remember anything. You only copy sentences with correct grammar. If you need English for speaking but also want to study grammar, you can visit grammar in leves.com. This website shows what grammar is important for the different levels of English. You can find the most important grammar rules for speaking. The second group of students are those who study English for passing an exam. If you are one of these students, I recommend studying specifically for this exam. If it can take the versions of this exam from the past years, if it is possible, and train with them. Of course, your exam will be a little different, but the structure is usually the same or very similar. From my point of view, the version of the exam from the past years are good training materials. Then I recommend going to the exam only when your results in the training materials, such that you can pass the exam successfully. Did I answer your questions? Yes, thank you, said the students. This is good news. I don't like studying grammar. I learn English because I want to be able to speak. I don't need to pass any exam. I'm happy that I don't have to study grammar much. I like reading and I'm happy that I can learn grammar by reading books. After the lesson, I go to the website grammerinlevels.com. It is really a nice website. There are grammar rules with examples for each level. They have 3 levels. These levels are 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000 words. In the afternoon, I go to my work. It is my second day, and I can already do a lot of things by myself. But my boss helps me when I need it. I see that my work is not very difficult. Also, I can practice English when I speak to our customer. When you want to have good grammar, read a lot. Chapter 2. When I test my English, it is Monday again, and I'm going to my school. Our teacher asks us what we did at the weekend. I say that I was at work on Saturday. I say that I can already do my work well. I say that I'm happy when I speak to our customer. When I speak, one of the girls in the class asks me, "What happened to your voice? You sound very different from what we had last week. Your pronunciation is very good." I smile and I say, "Thank you. I use Sheroin on Saturday evening after my work and the whole Sunday. I'm trying to speak like a native speaker. I know that it is not perfect, but I also see a big change in my pronunciation." Our teachers asks if other students trying to practice Sheroin. 3 students say yes. One of them is the student from South Korea. He also likes this technique. One student said that she tried the technique, but her mouth was in pain after 5 minutes of Sheroin, and she stopped it. She also said that she was always able to repeat everything because the recording was very fast for her. Our teacher said, "Thank you for trying out this technique. If you do Sheroin for the first time and your mouth is in pain after 5 minutes, you did it correctly. You need to train your muscle to this new way of speaking. It is like going to the gym for the first time. Your muscle can hurt if they are not trained. If the muscles in our mouth hurt, you can take a break after 5 minutes of Sheroin. You can continue a bit later. With every 5 minutes of practice, your pronunciation is better." Sheroin has also other advantages. You practice the correct pronunciation in English, and you also practice other things. For example, intonation, rhythm, and connecting words in whole sentences. I know that at the beginning, the recording can sometimes be very fast for you. If this happens, you can repeat only the first or the last word in the sentence. With practice, you will be able to repeat more. I say that it is true. On Saturday, when I started with Sheroin, it was difficult for me, but on Sunday evening it was easy to repeat what I heard. Then I had a question for our teacher. I told her that I look at grammerinlevels.com. This website is interesting, but I don't know what level is for me because I don't know how many words I know. Our teacher asks other students if they know how many words they know in English. It is interesting to see that nobody knows. We know that we are intermediate students, but we don't know how many words we know. Our teacher said there is a website for people who study foreign languages. You can do a test there. You can do a test there. You can know how many words you know. The test has only 2 steps and it is really simple. The name of the website is testlanguages.com. You can do the test every month and you can see how many you improved during that month. If you want, you can now take your smartphone and go to that website and do the test. I'm really interested in knowing how many words I know and do the test immediately. I find out that I know 2,100 words in English. Most of the students know between 2,000 and 2,200 words. Only Monica and the boy from South Korea knows 2,500 words. Our teacher said, so you can see that when you go to the grammar in levels.com, you should already know grammar from level 2. You can start using grammar from level 3 because level 3 is for students who know between 2,000 and 3,000 words. Test your progress every month. Test your progress every month. Chapter 3: How I handle mistakes. I was Tuesday. I go to school again. One student asked our teacher an interesting question. She said, I want to practice speaking with people around me, but I don't want to make mistakes. I don't want to look stupid. Can you help me? Our teacher said, making mistakes is a very interesting topic. There are a lot of opinions on this topic. I want to show you what I believe is the best to do. I have a lot of experience with this because I also learn new languages. For example, now I am learning Spanish. When I speak Spanish, I don't care if I make a mistake or not. The reason why I don't care about mistakes is simple. When I learned my native language, I don't care about making mistakes. Mistakes were not important for me. My main goal when I use any language is to say my ideas. It's all. I know that when I read a lot, speak and do sharing, my Spanish will be better and better. I know that this can look very simple, but it is my opinion. This is what I learned after many years of teaching and learning languages. It was very well. It was very well for me and many of my students. When I speak, I only concentrate on speaking. At the moment, I know 1,500 words in Spanish. It is the level of a 2-year-old child. 2-year-old children make a lot of mistakes when they speak, but they don't care about their mistakes. They continue using their native language, and when they are 3 years old, they make very few mistakes. And when they are 4 years old, they usually speak very well. You can do the same. Now, most of you know about 2,000 words, so it is absolutely okay to make mistakes. When you continue using English, there will be fewer and fewer mistakes in your speaking. It is not possible to go to a higher level if you don't make mistakes. When you practice English, it's okay not to be perfect. Perfection comes with practice. All people who started to learn English started from the beginning, from the same level, from level 0. Learning languages is like learning to play a musical instrument. It needs to be trained. When you start your training, it is not perfect at the beginning and you make mistakes. It is normal. Take it as a necessary part of your learning process. If you don't go through this period of making mistakes, you can get to higher levels. When you continue to use English, the mistakes can step by step go away. If you want to make fewer and fewer mistakes, do a lot of reading and sharing. When you read, you can read a lot. It can also help you make fewer mistakes. In real conversation, care only about exchanging ideas. Don't care about making mistakes. When you speak, you practice changing your idea to words. You don't learn grammar or words. You have other activities for it. You have other activities for it. Don't worry. Everybody who learns a foreign language make mistakes sometimes. Famous people, bosses of big companies, or politicians make mistakes too. When you listen to these people on TV, you see that they don't care about mistakes. They care about what is important and it is saying their ideas. You can do the same. Does this make sense? The girl said, yes, thank you. If you don't want to make mistakes, do a lot of reading and sharing. Part 3, Chapter 1, How I Remember Words. On Wednesday, I go to school again. At the beginning of the lesson, one student said, I started to read more. I feel that it is good for me. I can see how my grammar is better, but I have a problem. When I read and I don't know a word, I look at the word in a dictionary. Then I continue reading. Sometimes when I see the same word again, 10 minutes later, I don't remember the word and I have to look up it again. Can you help me to remember the words better? Our teacher said that it is an interesting question, and she gives this explanation. It is normal that you don't remember the new word immediately. Usually, you will have to look up the word 5 times before you remember it. There will be also words which you have to see 10 or 15 times. These words are usually verbs. When we learn a new word, the word goes through phases. Only when you achieve the last phase, you remember the word very well. There are 5 of these phases, so you can look at them now. The first phase is the moment when you see the word for the first time and you don't know the word. You look at the word in the dictionary. The second phase is the moment when you see the word for the second time. You know that you saw this word before, but you still don't remember its meaning. You look at the word in the dictionary again. The third phase is the moment when you see the word again and you feel what is could mean, but you are not sure. For example, you know that the word is some kind of object or some animal or above. The fourth phase is the moment when you already know what the word means when you see it, but you are not able to remember the word when you want to say it. When this phase happens, the word is in your passive vocabulary. The fifth phase is the moment when you are able to use the word when you speak. Now you can see there are 5 phases altogether. Do you remember now why it is not possible to remember a new word when you see it for the first time? It is usually not possible to jump across all the phases with the first meeting with the word. You have to see or hear every word many times and let the word go through all the phases. You can be happy not only when you learn a new word perfectly, but also when you get from one phase to the other. When it happens, you are closest to the final goal, and it is to use the word without problems in everyday communication. It is interesting to me. I don't know about these pieces, but it is all logical. I also have this experience when I look up a new word in the dictionary, but 2 minutes later, I don't know what the word means, and I have to look up the word again. I feel stupid when I don't remember the word. Now I know that it is okay not to remember the word forever when I see it for the first time. I need more meetings with the word before I can use the word well. After school, I go to my football training. Our coach tells us that there is a match on Saturday. The school team will play against another school team from Cambridge. Our coach tells me to come and play for the school team. I'm very happy and I'm looking forward to the Saturday match. When you want to remember a new word, you need to see or hear the word about 10 times. 10 times. Part 3, Chapter 2. How I improve listening. The next day, I go to school again. One of the students has an important question. He wants to know how to improve his listening skill. He wants to know what the best method is. Our teacher said, "Thank you for your question. Good listening skills are very important for communication. If you don't understand what people are saying, it will be difficult for you to speak with them." There are a lot of materials on the internet for students of English. Some students can have a problem to choose the right listening material for them. Now, I want to tell you what materials you can use for listening. There are 2 types of materials which you can use for listening. You can listen to some audio or you can watch a film. These are 2 different types of material. When you listen to some audio, it is good to know 95% of the words or more. If the audio has a lot of new words, read the text first, if possible, and look at all new words in the dictionary. When you practice listening, you practice getting information from a spoken language. You don't try to learn new words. Of course, sometimes you can learn new words, but it is not the main goal. When you listen, concentrate on getting information from spoken English. It is important to use material at your level of English. For example, you can use books in Simplifying English, which have an audio recording. I really recommend this book to you. They are fantastic because you can choose a book at your level of English. When you have such a book, read the book first and then listen to the recording at home or when you travel. You can read 2 great books at these 2 websites. You can also visit www.newsinlevels.com if you like listening to the news. Hello friends, thanks for listening.